Hello friends, Jeff Wilson here. How goes it on this Monday morning? I'm actually posting this morning, so I am starting a new trend. This is my main channel, talking about running, strength, and many other things. And in today's video on Monday morning's Coffee Talks is going to be how much strength does a runner truly need? So, what I mean by this, and this is a question I get pretty regularly, I don't think, honestly, truthfully, a lot of runners understand what they're asking a lot. I don't mean that to be rude or mean or whatever. It's just, I think a lot of runners are thinking, like, do I really need to lift is really the main question. And, of course, the answer is always going to be yes. If you've been a competitive runner in any way, shape, or form, been in high school, at this point, like, people are training like that pretty regularly. It's very normal to train like this now. If you ran in college or tried to be competitive in any way in the last decade, not doing strength training probably felt a little weird. If it didn't, you're hanging out with the wrong runners. So anyway, without getting more into that, what I want to say is just simply that, sorry, traffic is a little nuts today. It's July 6th. I feel like a couple days after the, the woo-woos of the holidays. But anyway, so how much strength is enough? I'm not actually talking about, or I'm not going to go too in depth about the actual percentages of things outside of just a couple main goals. But it's not necessarily, depending on how you're thinking about the question, may not be the right wording for you when you think of how much strength is enough, because the majority of people need just a well-rounded approach where they are aiming at a foundational level of strength that prepares their body for what actually running is, and then getting to a goal where you're transitioning this foundational strength into power development. And at the end of the day, running is a very powerful sport. You are constantly doing basically plyometrics over and over again, and that is a lot on the system. So think about it that way. When you think about foundational strength, you just need a few basic movements. When I say basic, I don't mean necessarily easy. Squatting and hinging isn't necessarily easy right away, especially if you're using barbells. But we're not going to get into the specifics of which ones to do. But if you have a squat, some sort of hinge like a deadlift, or even a glute bridge on the ground with weights on your hip, some upper body pushing, some upper body pulling, some sort of rotational and anti-rotational movement, a carry, and I like to then, because we're talking about running, I like to get into the calf raising type stuff, even though that technically could get into lower body pushing dynamics, but some sort of calf raise and some sort of single leg movement, because one of the only other things I'm going to mention as far as development goes is you want to work some of your foundational strength into single leg power, not just power. But the first goal is power, then eventually single leg power, and being able to transition or translate your strength, let's say newfound strength, into very, very explosive, very, very sports performance power. I don't care if you're running 15-minute miles. You got to be able to be powerful, relatively speaking. And we're talking about a neuromuscular component, stuff that you can't see. You can just feel over time. And you'll feel it going up hills, running around trails if you have those kind of things. You'll feel it at the end of a race. You'll feel it in very little minute moments in your workouts. It's very minimal in terms of the feeling, but at some point it will not be minimal in terms of the benefits and the overall overarching actual performance, your numbers actually start to come into play. So some of the foundational strengths, like I said, I wouldn't go too much into this. It's beyond the scope of this video. But when you're talking about squatting and hinging, you can do a deadlift, especially a hex bar deadlift, if we're getting a little into that, I think it's really, really, really important to take your body weight. Let's say you're 125 pounds. I mean, it's a little bit in between what a typical male and female might be as an adult, but, or, you know, and also think about 150. I used to be 150. I was 6 feet tall. So I got to like 155 a lot. So if you like, just kind of think about some numbers like that. And at the very least, you want to get to being able to eventually squat and absolutely deadlift 1.5 times your body weight. I think it's really important to aim at, if we're talking a bench press, at the very least 0.75% of your body weight. And I don't mean that rudely or like to make fun of anybody, but I think bench press is not something to overlook because it translates into so many other things. And it's very confidence building, especially, I mean, I'm going to be honest, especially if you're a guy. The testosterone building for these big movements is something you do not want to overlook, I promise you. And it kind of staves off slightly, not a massive amount, but staves off some of the, let's say, drawbacks of running a lot. If you're somebody that is running a lot, you don't want to just be doing endurance the rest of your life. Your body needs to actually have testosterone building, and I can tell you long distance running does not build your testosterone. So there you go. And then the other ones are a little bit subjective. I think being able to do 25 to 50 push-ups, give or take, depending on the person, straight is a good endurance number, not to be contradicting to what I just said about testosterone building. So for some people, aiming to be able to just do a pull-up or to be able to do several pull-ups and actually do them properly. And then other things, like being able to do a farmer's carry at about like 2/3 to full body weight. I'm talking you have a dumbbell or kettlebell in each hand. And I mean, this one's tough, but if you, like, for me, like I was 160. I got to a point where like 70, 80 pound kettlebells is something that I can actually, I was able to do for like 20, 30 seconds. I think aiming for at least a 30-second window for that. But like I said, about 2/3 of your body weight, half your body weight, you should be able to do probably more so like honestly, probably a 45-second minute window. And being able to not, like, if you've never done a farmer's carry, look it up. I'll have more videos like that later. But if you can't, like, hold up your posture, clearly that's too heavy. And little things, like, it's just like, it's showing some of your spinal stabilizing muscles. It's showing some of your shoulder strength, your even like your chest and tricep strength, especially your grip. A couple weeks ago, I was at a bachelor party, and we were doing all these fun games. If any of you guys watch this, shout out. And one of the only competitions that I did well in, because I was the only guy that was older than 31, and I ended up winning in the dead hang, and I think it was 234 at this like local playground. And anyway, I work on my grip quite a bit. I do a lot of grip strengthening type exercises. And that's a whole nother video, but that does actually matter even for a runner. And the last thing I'll say is I wouldn't overthink a lot of these things. However, especially the percentages and stuff like that, just keep it simple with the list of exercises. I'll continue to post stuff about the simplicity of which type of exercises you should be doing. Squat, hinge, overhead press, overhead pull, horizontal push, or horizontal pull, don't overthink it. Single leg movement for a runner, you definitely need some form of calf raising / jumping at some point, and then a single leg lunge, single leg RDL, single leg squat, things that will eventually be able to translate into being able to isolate on one side, because let's face it, as simplistic as this is, you're constantly running, floating on one foot and planting on the other, and we need to be able to show your neuromuscular system how strong you need to be in your glutes and blah blah blah. So anyway, I don't want to get any further in that. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep staying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm really tired. I slept like 4 hours last night. I don't know. Just keep watching. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna post at least one video a day on this channel, and probably almost every channel that I do. I'll update on some of those later. So cheers, have a great Monday, and I will see you on the other side.